we're all going through the same thing, and we all have challenging situations, no matter how big your company is. It just doesn't matter if you're AFT or, Tyler doing the smaller stuff. We all go through challenges.
The common denominator is we're all humans.
We're all humans working with other humans, whether it's an owner. And
it's emotional.
I mean, it is so emotional.
What's up, Slade? How are you?
What's up, buddy? Good, man. How are you?
Straight from Arizona to Chicago.
Chicago's supposed to be snowing like day after tomorrow, so I'm out tomorrow. Like, I'm back on the plane.
Are you really?
I got a wedding tomorrow. So.
Oh, you were leaving anyway.
But I heard it was going to snow, so I'm like, I don't do snow.
Oh, please. You're indoors. You're like Brad now. I was like, whenever we do like boot camp or sauna camp or like in a cold climate, I'm like, come on, buddy, you're fine. We always joke because I can't handle the heat and he can't handle the cold, but we sort of just like to tease each other about it.
I don't know anything else. I'm like a native to Arizona.
Oh, you are? That's so, rare, right?
Very rare. Everybody's moving to Arizona. I've been there my whole life, so I don't know cold weather at all. It's just not my blood.
But Boston was your first one.
Boston was our first one.
So you came to Boston Contractor Coalition a year ago.
Yeah.
What have you implemented? Well, first of all, what caused you to go to the first one?
So I'd met Brad at IBS a couple years ago, and I was just talking to him, and Scottsdale, as big as it is, it's still small in the building community. So I knew of AFT and listening to his podcasts, and, it was like, hey, I want to know more. And I told Brad, hey, where's some places that I can go to maybe learn how to be a better, business owner and builder. And he was one that told me about Contractors Coalition Summit. So I signed up after that, and the next one that was up was Chicago. And my wife and I, got on a plane and headed out there. And of course, my wife's like, "Oh, Boston, let's go." So yeah, that was the first one.
What was your expectations going into that one, and what did you learn? What were your main takeaways that you applied to your business from Boston?
Yeah, I really didn't have any expectations as much as I had heard, Brad's podcasts, and then I didn't know much about Nick and Tyler, so I kind of started checking some of those guys out, and NS Builder, and I thought, man, these guys are doing some really great stuff, and what little bit I did hear, I was like, hey, this is good. So I guess if I did have any expectation, it was just to, maybe be able to pick up something that these guys are doing to be able to, bring back home and implement, with Trinity.
Were there anything, it's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year.
What have you applied? Can you think of anything, or was it more?
No, it was a lot of stuff. I would say probably the biggest takeaway from Boston was just really trying to understand contracts better and then understand trade partner agreement. So that was probably the biggest thing. We were doing a lot of fixed fees at the time. So the cost plus I'd known about, but I wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, hey, let's understand my contract better. Let's understand trade partner agreements. Another big takeaway was just really more about the client experience. How can we serve them better? Communication, as much as we'd use BuilderTrend, I even picked up, some stuff that we can, take back and learn with BuilderTrend also.
How, whenever, a lot of times it's the owner or the leader of their companies that come. Yeah. Then we go back and we're all fired up with all these ideas. Yeah. How was team adoption?
Yeah. Well, my team knows that, when I get an idea, like I'm all in. I think this time I was a little bit more subtle in that approach. But I did share with them, I'm the one that does all the contracts. So that kind of stuff was just, hey, these are things that I need to do. I think the biggest thing was actually the book that Nick talks about, Unreasonable Hospitality. Yeah, so that was something I got for all of our people. So I learned that at Boston actually, and then took that back and made everybody read it. And also the one takeaway was ChatGTP. That was something that Nick was kind of getting going and I remember because my wife and I, we left Boston and went to New York because we'd never been there. So we jumped on a train and went to New York. So the whole way on that train ride, like I was telling chat all about me. I was giving it my website. I was saying who I am because, my faith, like, because I'm a Christ follower and I'm like, okay, this is me as a person. So it really got to understand me. And I've been using chat I mean, it's just a part of my everyday tool that I have. So that was probably a big takeaway.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What does your team notice? I mean, have they adopted
Yeah.
a lot of that?
Yeah, I would say, as far as chat or just
everything.
Yeah, I would say definitely on chat. I tell all my project managers, like, as organized as you are and as great as your emails look, just run it through chat. Just do that, implement it. We use Buildertrend. The big thing with Buildertrend now and their AI is their weekly reports. So AI has really become, I don't really know how to put it, but it's just something that we're using to probably just be clear in our communication and better organized. And for me, I've been able to work with SOPs and stuff like that for more of the operational stuff, as a business owner. So.
Remind me again how big your company is in terms of people.
So we're average right around 10 people.
Okay.
So yeah, we got 10 employees.
How, I'm always kind of curious about people's, that old adage, if you're working on the business or in the business.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been able to work on the business.
I have, I've got a great team, and it's probably, obviously I can't do it without them, but I still, I battle getting drug into the business, like currently right now, I had a director of construction, director of ops, and things weren't really running the way I really wanted them to, so I've had to take a step back a little bit from, working on the business and get back in it for a little bit. But, I don't know who I had heard it from, but, we just go through different seasons in life, not only personally, but in our business too. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned really at Contractors Coalition Summit is, it's always about just looking ahead, and we can't get too down on ourselves. Like we all deal with the same struggles. We all have the same type of clients. Like some are great, some are like, hey, let's just get through and finish this. We all go through cash flow, issues. We all go through employee issues. And so for me, I'm just like, I don't want to be so rigid that I really get down on my team or myself. And it's for a season right now. Like, it's like, okay, I gotta get back into it, work in it right now, just for a season until, I can find that right person, which, he's gonna be here, he's gonna come, and my business isn't gonna close because of it. So we all go through seasons.
What made you come back again?
I would say that the big thing for me is every time, like this is my third one. So I did Boston, then we did Omaha, and I wasn't gonna come here, but we happened to be in Dallas anyways, and I was like, hey, let's just swing on over, even if it's for a couple of days. But the reason I come back is to hang with guys like you, and to see Brad and Nick and other people that we've met over the years. And then also, it's kind of like drinking, water from a fire hose the first time you're there. You're like, whoa, so much. So now when I come back, I'm like, okay, I get that. I've applied it. I've implemented it. Okay, now I'm ready for the next step. Or it's just like, oh man, I didn't even catch that the first time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're reading your Bible, you're like, wow, I never understood scripture that way. So now I get it. So
when you have experience and you have life and you've tried these things and you go back and hear it again, it's deeper, it's more meaningful, it impacts your business and your personal life different. We're only on day one right now when we're recording this. We still have 2 more days. What have you heard so far that is either different or maybe has struck a chord with you this time that feels different than before?
Because I think for us builders, I was talking to somebody last night from Florida, like it's so emotional, right? And clients are so emotional, and it's a lot of times what emotions they're going through, we tend to cast that on ourselves too. If they're real high strung, like we might end up getting in that way. But outside of that, we've got to maintain that healthy, not only physical, rest, working out, which unfortunately it looks like I need to get back into the gym some more, because I feel like I do rest well. I'm spending good time with the family, but my body right now isn't where it should be. But I love the fact that you took time out to really talk about that, because it all has to do with our mind, right? What's happening, what we're doing with our body affects how our mind is, and then that's going to affect how our relationships are with our wife, with our kids, with homeowners. So I'm glad that you brought that.
Yeah, I mean, for those that weren't here, we gave about a half-hour presentation on boundaries creating freedom. And just different things in our life that we need to do to protect the most precious things in our life. And it means a lot to me to share it, because it means a lot to me when I hear someone else share, whatever their stories. I've been to, I think, probably 7 contractor coalitions. I missed one, and now I'm a part of it, which is a kind of a cool treat and a different point of view. And from me, I think this is the most emotional one that I've been at. And I can't tell if it's where I'm at or if it's where all the people are at. It might be a little bit of both, but last night we had that open mic session.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were you there for that part of it?
Yeah.
And we asked people to share their most difficult trial in their business or personal, because they sometimes get intertwined. And what was your reaction to hearing what, I think we had 7 or 8 people that shared, a 5-minute story?
Yeah, I think it was great to see guys vulnerable, but I think the big thing was, again, and I said this earlier, is we all go through something. Like, nobody's perfect. Like, we're constantly learning and improving. And no matter what that big, I don't see them as much as failures as much as opportunities to learn. It's like, hey, listen, okay, I went through this, I got through it. Check that, I'm not going to do that again. You hope, right?
Yeah,
you never know. It's like, hopefully I don't make that decision again. But it was great because I know that there's people out there, and but me, one of them, I'm going through some stuff right now, just, with just a project that's like, man, I wish I could already be done. And it's like, okay, what are some of those things that I could have done throughout that project not to get to where I'm at? And again, it's not going to close the doors. I'm gonna learn from it. But it's just that idea of we're all going through the same thing, and we all have challenging situations. No matter how big your company is, it just doesn't matter if you're AFT or Tyler doing the smaller stuff. We all go through challenges.
100%. I mean, and we're all people, right? The common denominator is we're all humans.
And we're all humans working with other humans, whether it's an owner and
it's emotional.
I mean, it is so emotional. So emotional. The emotional roller coaster that was one of the first things I remember that kind of stuck in my head with Brad was, man, it's so right. Like, owners, I'm not perfect. I'm going to do the best I can. You're going to hate me probably at some point. I hope not, but at some point you're going to be so frustrated and realize we're all working towards an end goal to get you moved into this home that you're going to raise your kids in. You're going to break bread together. You're going to invite people over. Like, we will get through this. Just trust the process.
I mean, I think I've often said that other than maybe a wedding, I think building a home or remodeling a home is the most intimate and emotionally charged, for sure, business practice. I don't know, unless, a wedding planner would be, but I always had this funny idea. I've never been able to crack the code on how to do it, but I always thought it'd be funny to have 2 wedding planners and 2 project managers in a public format, and then you'd have a pink paddle for weddings and a blue paddle for building or whatever, and you'd ask neutral questions, and the audience would have to predict whose problem I'm describing. And
that's so funny.
And I think that you would be I think it could apply to both. Is the point? It's been in my mind for about 4 or 5 years. I just can't figure out how to Maybe we'll dump it into ChatGPT. I've never asked ChatGPT how to make. That's actually a great idea.
I'm sure it'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'll dump it into yours and see what it says. Well, Slade, welcome to the the public podcasting domain.
For sure.
For this to be successful for you, to either come again or to make this successful, when you go back, what would be something, either a meaningful change at the company, or is it more just continually filling up the emotional bucket of progress and kind of just continually striving to be a better version of yourself?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. When I come here, I am reminded that, hey, I'm doing a lot of good things, because we get into the day-to-day grind and, cash flow and owners, and sometimes it's easy to be like, man, am I really, why am I spinning my wheels? What's going on? And then you feel like you're on an island. Then you come here and you talk to different guys. You're like, hey, listen, I'm doing all right. It's okay. I'm going to continue to get better. I'm not where I was last year. Next year, man, I'm excited because each year I come back, and I'll be in Charleston coming up next year for sure. I'm already signed up for that.
Are you really?
Yeah, it'll be cool.
You might be the first person.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm not even sure the website's live.
Actually, it was part of when I told them I was coming here. They said, hey, are you going to be coming to Charleston or Denver? And I said, oh, for sure, come to Charleston. Okay. So I guess that's not, I haven't actually signed
Okay,
up,
I was like,
but
wow,
I'm
that's
slotted.
impressive. We just had a planning meeting yesterday. I'm like, I didn't even know it was live.
Yeah,
Look at you,
so no, I took
OG. That's super funny.
But no, it's probably just the idea of, hey, listen, we are doing a lot of things good. And it just helped me build my confidence and instead of just being like, oh my gosh, you know. And then I think, you know, some things that I heard today, I really want to get better at the warranty and maintenance program. And that's something that I heard in Boston, you know, with Nick talking about his home maintenance deal. And I think I'm kind of to that point now where it's like, okay, let me try and really figure out a way to implement a plan, because when we do go back for warranty, it's stuff that they should have already been doing. So that's something I'm going to try and take away with. And then let's see. Yeah.
No, that's great. Some of the side conversations. What's a conversation you've had with another, maybe a new builder that's come to Contractor Coalition? What are you hearing? Kind of boots on the ground. What are you hearing in your conversation?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've met a lot of first-timer people that are asking me questions. They're like, hey, is this your first time? I'm like, no, it's actually my third time. And they're like, oh, really? Oh, wow. So it's kind of cool to be like, not the green guy here. But it's great to see people, no matter whether they're smaller. We met a couple last night. They're from Florida, and he, you know, used to be in the service. He was a Marine. But just to hear their husband and wife team, because it's me and my wife, you know, she does the design and I do the build. So it's kind of cool to find some common people that are builders that kind of look like our company, set up where our company is. But it's just great to be able to share with them, hey, listen, you're gonna hear a lot of stuff. Don't try and take it all at once. Just grab some stuff that you can take back and apply, and then look forward to the next one. Like, because I'm guaranteeing you, this isn't gonna be your last one, because each time you're gonna learn more. Plus, again, to me, it's the relationships of meeting people. You know, we actually went and saw Ryan and Hannah. We had met them. They're builders out of just outside of Dallas. So we met them in Boston. Well, we were just in Dallas this past weekend, and we called them up and went and had lunch with them.
Oh, cool.
And it was so cool just to see them, you know, and see how they're doing and talk about their business and what have they learned. And so it's those kind of relationships that are cool about being at Contractors Coalition.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think, you know, when I went to Nashville 3.5 years ago, my wife encouraged me to go, and she said, I think you'd really benefit from a group like this. Yeah. And for me, I think a lot of builders think this way, but you're like, well, I'm just a builder in Minnesota or Arizona. Like, why would I network with builders all around the country? Now, in your case, you knew Brad before, so it's you know, you were encouraged that way. But like, I think it's like, there's I guess another verse in the Bible that I often quote where the people perish where there is no vision. And I think when your vision is bigger or brighter or uplifted, you know, sometimes we're so focused on the day-to-day, and then sometimes we need people around us, our community, other aspirational builders who are trying to emulate their behavior, their models, whatever they're doing. It's not out of envy or jealousy or any of those things. It's all about inspiration, and and so then you look up and you're like, wow, this world is so much bigger than I thought. Even someone like myself, who I always consider myself very optimistic, I was like, I even had blinders that I didn't realize. And so sometimes you need people in your community to be like, oh wow, that's what you're doing? Oh, well, I mean, I can do that. Definitely. And I find it very mutually inspirational hearing your story as I interview other people as well. It's just like, and I think that's why I can't speak for, well, I've heard them say this, but like Brad, Morgan, Nick, and myself, like, they continue to evolve because no one's static. Yeah. I mean, even for them, like they present differently than they did 3.5 years ago. Yeah. The content continues to get deeper and evolve with their businesses as well. Definitely. And so it continually is fresh.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I love the word inspirational, because I was trying to think of that word earlier when I was talking about, you know, that helps me build my confidence, but it is inspirational hearing other builders from different places, and then, you know, hearing Brad and Nick and even you and Morgan. It's just like, yeah, it's really inspirational. Mm-hmm. So
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you in Charleston.
Yeah, man, thanks.
If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.